Don't do this. Don't do it. Just start talking. Don't look at me with that face.
Well, this morning, something amazing happened. Okay?
Yes.
All right. So let me tell you what happened. So I get up, and you're getting ready. We've already been up a little bit, and you're getting ready to go and leave, and you grab your keys, and you yell at me because you said I took your keys, and you were furious. And
I walked back in. I said, "Who took my car keys?"
No. You didn't say who. You didn't say who. You said I did.
No, I said who, but it was an obvious
who else is it?
Sarcastic dig of a who.
You took it. No, but then you looked at me and you go, "You took it from my keychain," and you were like, so frustrated. And then you looked at your keychain, and the key was there.
The little dangly bit
that's attached to it because it fell from wherever.
Yeah.
But it fell off, and you were like, "Oh, sorry."
Sorry.
I love that feeling.
Yeah.
And it's weird.
You do.
Because it's like, yes, I won, you lost, I win. But in the end,
it's a fucking competition freak.
It's not a competition freak because it's just about the fights. It's about
everything
husband and wife fights.
It's
about couple fights. It's like whoever wins, you can pretend.
There's a winning.
Yes, there's a winner and a loser.
Of course, there's a winning.
There's a winner and a loser.
And I'm very competitive too.
You lost that fight. Yet, here's the difference though. You're able to walk out of the house and it's like, yeah, whatever. Like, it's fine. He's not gonna get mad at me, or he's not gonna hold it against me. Or I feel like if it was in the revert, because I wasn't. I was like, yeah, I won. But it's such a weird feeling because it's like I won because she yelled at me and she was wrong. I didn't really win anything is my whole point here.
No.
But you didn't lose anything either. In the sense of like, you come back and I could have easily, if I did this to you, the reaction could have been worse. Probably would have been.
But it's possible.
It's possible.
It's possible.
You want to get the show started?
Yes, please. That would be your cue for the music.
It is cute.
Oh.
I don't know why I don't hear it.
Welcome to the couple shift.
No. It's like dead silent. What happened? Oh, I know why.
Oh.
It's playing. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
There it is. It should be. And if it didn't go in the intro in the actual episode, once I, do this.
Yeah, that'll be fun to listen to.
It'll be fun to hear like silence, and then all of a sudden we hear the music. Is it still going? Yeah, it is still going. So it's fine. So, baby.
Yes, my love.
Why are you excited for today?
Happy January 20th.
Happy January 20th. Happy start of a new.
It is 10:19 in the morning Eastern time on January 20th, 2021. It is a new day.
Yes.
And yeah, it's like such a combination of feels.
Go on.
I mean, there we go.
And the show's over.
And the show's over. Goodbye, everybody. Please remember to rate, review, and subscribe.
Why did it do this so many I don't know. I gotta figure that out.
This is what happens when you're a one-man and one-woman show. When we make it, we'll have a production person that will cue you in, cue you out.
Do all this.
You'll be all like Tom Segura in his glory.
Oh, man. This is... Sorry.
With his 27 podcasts that they produce.
I mean, it's
a little too many.
They throw out so many. It's great. No, it's great.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
They enjoy doing it. It's great.
It's great.
Then, good for them.
Yeah. So, no, I mean, a combination of emotions just in the sense that there's a lot moving. There's a lot happening energetically. Today, specifically, it's one of those things where there's an amendment in the Constitution that tells you that January 20th is the date, is the inauguration date.
Yes.
Fun fact.
Here we go.
Back in the day, our forefathers actually aligned important dates like election, inauguration. I think inauguration ended up changing.
Can I take the guess?
Yeah.
With the lunar cycle.
With astrology, not just the lunar cycle. There's so much more than the lunar cycle, my love. But yes.
I had a feeling.
You had a feeling. No, but they legit aligned these key dates with astrological things. You can't make this stuff up, babe. You and I, you will finally one day I will win. I will win. And because you will say, you know what, babe?
I am not
all
disagreeing with you.
But you have this thing with astrology, and you will say one day, you know what, babe? All these things you talked about astrology, I finally get it. I see the bigger picture. It's not just about, a little clipping in the newspaper that says, oh, you're a Cancer. Today, your day is going to be bright and sunny. Go outside and have it and smile.
All right. I don't have a huge issue with astrology except for when people
issue.
It's you.
British then.
Listen, it's just that it's all relative. I've said this before. It's all relative. If we were on another planet, another solar system, and another galaxy,
great. But we're
all
here.
That stuff.
So
instead of Cancer or a crab in the sky, there's a freaking Scorpio. No, there's a scorpion also. Scorpio.
Yes.
But there's something totally different.
Of course.
If there's an intelligent life that looked at the stars and looked for answers,
yes.
whatever.
And in your past life as a star being, you had a different experience of astrology. Here on Earth right now, we have a long history of astrology actually being the original form of even like psychology. When you really understand it as an art form and a craft, it's really, really powerful. And so going back to January 20th, I mean, this was this date. And I think there's one of the dates that changed because the inauguration originally was happening, I think later was the date when presidents were inaugurated. And then one of the presidents decided to make it earlier because it was like, why are we waiting so long to have the new person come in? Thank goodness this year that was the case. But yes, but some of the other ones were all aligned with astrological things. Anyways, January 20th, today also happens to be a really powerful day astrologically, which it's like there are things colliding that have collided over the past year into this year where more and more people are waking up to how astrology illuminates and gives an additional layer of information for us to work with and understand the world that surrounds us. These are facts.
Powerful stuff here.
Powerful stuff. So when I say all the feels, it's like there's a lot happening energetically, but I feel this incredible sense of effervescence and joy. And of course, this speaks to those who are, looking forward to this new incumbent president and vice president. Go Kamala. It's a new day. Onward.
Yes.
Onward.
Very excited for the future.
Onward.
No. So, moving on from inauguration day and all that stuff, I need a haircut.
You do, but last time you got a haircut with the guy.
I did. No, I'm not. Oh, you thought? Oh, that's cute. No, I don't want you to cut my hair.
Oh, I was like, oh, I know, I'm gonna give you some pretty good haircuts, but
No. I was just making a comment. I need a haircut. I really do.
Okay. When you looked at me, I was
I
like,
know. I don't know why. I know.
How many times did I cut your hair during quarantine?
4 times.
Mm-hmm. They were good. I did a good job. The first time I was a little hesitant.
Listen, the guy said that you didn't do too bad. He didn't do too bad. It's so amazing how barbers can look at someone's hair and be like,
well, again, it's an art form.
Who took a weed whacker to this?
Who did this to you?
Who did this to you?
It's like the time that I've been cutting my own bangs for a while now. Like if I have really long hair, then I'll have somebody cut them for me, and then I'll just do the maintenance. And then I was doing maintenance to the point that I cut like too many bangs, and then the next time I went to get my hair cut, she was like, "Who cut all these bangs?" And I was like, "It might have been me. I just wanted a little more bangage."
Yeah. A little more pizzazz. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
I would say a haircut would be nice.
Mm-hmm. Really
I was looking at a picture here. It's on my phone. This picture of us during.
I had it. That was Thanksgiving. I had it really, really. Oh boy.
Look at that.
Look at that skin. And that mustache.
Look at that zoom on that camera. Can't we take a moment?
Great, isn't it?
Hold on.
All right,
you gotta see the little guy.
Oh,
there he is.
I was like, "What are you doing? You already showed it."
I love this picture of us.
I know.
I look at it. I can.
And
look
where
at
did
it all
you make
day
that
long,
picture? Where did you make that picture?
Canva.
This woman is obsessed with Canva, and she just.
Yes.
And you know what? You know what frustrates them?
Claimed it.
frustrates the hell out of me is
boy.
that she goes into Canva. She's like, oh, I just got to edit this picture. And I'm like, when are we going to record? Or when are we going to do this or whatever? Oh, I just got to edit this picture. I'm like, okay, fine. It's 10 o'clock or whatever. And I'm like,
15 minutes.
15 minutes. 45 minutes later, she's still in the same picture. Do you like this color or this color? I'm like, oh my God, that's enough. It's enough.
You know, sometimes I work, inspiration just strikes and I like turn them out like boom, boom, boom.
Right.
And then other times it's like.
But even when they're coming out, boom, 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 it's still 45 minutes.
I go down the rabbit hole.
You do. And
Completely.
It's like, honey, we got to focus on here. Let's go.
I love Canva.
I know you do. I know you
And-
do. I know you do. So
And I've developed a new branding look for my stuff and I'm obsessed with it. And so I like to play around with lots of layers and textures.
and it takes time, and
things
everybody
and-
else is just sitting there like, oh, when is this going to end?
I was teaching Skylar how to use it yesterday.
Oh,
He was
wonderful.
watching me. He was like, Mommy, when's my turn? And so he was making like shapes and things. And
Yeah, then
It's
I
cute.
let him do that on the other computer,
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
was having a good time with that. So there's a couple things I wanted to talk about today specifically, and we had started discussing them yesterday, and it was something I heard a scientist talking about, and I found it really intriguing. And I think actually all of this, it's kind of like a theme of points that deal with science and just how people think
yeah.
and how people fear to be uncomfortable. We've talked about that before. But it all kind of goes.
I'm sorry. Do you have show notes on
I
the
do.
computer?
I do. I do. Did you just notice that now?
I just noticed that. Show notes for January 20th.
Stop it. Let me finish. Don't.
I just got a little
Don't break the wall.
with Notes Joy.
You just broke the wall.
Ay, qué lindo.
No me toques. So
I
anyways,
made him nervous.
um,
I love it.
one of the main things that I wanted to talk about was what we've experienced. Actually, before we get into that, I wanted to talk about one of the things I would teach my students when I was teaching in the beginning. One of the first things we taught in any of my science classes that I taught was, we can't be biased. Whenever we go into anything in an experiment or whatever, we cannot be biased. We can have hypothesis on what we think is going to happen, but we cannot try to change the information that we're gathering, the observations,
Like fit it
into our
your
hypothesis,
narrative, like what you.
because you're just not doing science anymore. And then the other thing was that there's the mindset is so important. We can't be closed-minded. It's good to it's healthy to question a lot of things up to a certain extent, right? Because some people go down that thing, oh, I'm going to question everything. And it gets to the point, which I think I used to say that phrase all the time, question everything, because I think it was Discovery Channel's slogan or something for a while, which was a great slogan until they became a social, then it just became reality TV, which I can't stand that. But anyways, question everything is great until you get to a point of like where you're questioning a measurement or something that you would think is objective. When you start questioning objective facts that have been observed or have been measured or whatever, then you get to the point that you're just not going to believe anything. And you can go down that rabbit hole of conspiracy theories and all that stuff. But at the same time, when you become like that, when you get into those conspiracy, then you become closed-minded because then you're not open to anything. It's weird.
Isn't
It's
it
kind of like
interesting how that happens?
it kind of like it's like if you go too much to one end, it cycles
it
back.
loops in on itself.
It loops in on itself.
Yeah.
So, and one of the guys that I was listening to on a podcast or whatever, he was talking about how scientists, they're just not open-minded. Or bad.
Some scientists
are not open-minded, and it's a block, and it's bad science, and it has impeded us from doing so many things, looking at the stars. He was talking about aliens and things like that, which you can have your reservations on, which I totally do, but at the same time, I also look at the size of the universe. My quick opinion is, you look at the size of the universe, there's got to be intelligent life. Have we come in contact with it? Maybe not. I don't know. That's it. That's all. That's simple. But I'm never gonna look at something and be like, no, it can't be that. So he was talking about. I remember last year how they were talking about that rock, that asteroid or whatever, that object that was moving pretty fast in a certain direction or had changed directions or whatever. And this is out there. I forgot where it was. And the description of it was like a slab, like not, it's not thin, but in the
like
sense
a flat kind of thing.
like a flat, rectangular shaped thing. It didn't have
like
like
a platform, like an alien
like
platform.
like a ship or whatever, like a massive ship kind of deal. Like we're talking about, I think it was like a foot and 2 football fields long. I guess that's not huge, but whatever. It just didn't have the common signs of a comet or whatever other objects in space, because it didn't have a tail. It didn't have certain things. It just didn't make sense. And some scientists, with this guy, for example, he's like, is it possible that it could be some sort of alien craft? And then there were others who were just like, no, it cannot be. This is foolish, because why would a spacecraft go here, whatever? That's the example of being closed-minded. And one of the other examples he's talked about was like teachers that get tenure in colleges. They get to the point when you get tenured, that means you're safe. Like you can be yourself in a sense.
Yeah.
Because you got there, you got tenured
Yeah.
because you're being yourself and you're being such a great teacher or whatever the case.
And you'd have to do something really crazy. Like you said,
you have to do
yesterday,
something really
because
crazy
you were
to lose that.
to get fired. Yeah.
So what's insane is when these teachers become tenured, they actually become more conservative than ever in their science. And then they just surround themselves with yes men, and they surround themselves with people that approve them. And the whole point about this is like, people don't want to get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
People have this fear of being uncomfortable, but we've talked about this before. The only time you grow is when you get uncomfortable. And I found it so interesting, and I also found it, I mean, we're talking a lot of the scientific community of kind of being hypocritical in themselves because they're so close-minded on some things. This guy was talking about aliens in the sense. I mean, he wasn't going like they abducted me and they, no, he wasn't even going there. He was just displaying the facts. And he's like, and in history, we see how this has delayed progression, or not progression, delayed,
progress.
Progress, that's what I meant.
Yeah. And the word that keeps coming to mind is like evolution and revolution. Like you can't have revolutionary thoughts in terms not, like super evolved.
Whenever we saw growth, I feel like whenever we saw major growth in science or just understanding of our world, was when the majority of people accepted, oh wait, what we were told before,
like some revolutionary thought,
right, is actually not necessarily right. And once that was accepted, then we see the growth. Then we saw the growth, and we saw the renaissance of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But every time someone came up with an idea, the thing is, it wasn't like when we first figured out that it's possible that there's other planets circling stars. When we the first person to say, hey, this is a possibility, I think, or hey, that guy was killed for it. And then it's silence for decades. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, that guy that we killed about 60 years ago. Yeah, I think he was kind of right.
he was onto something.
I think he was onto something. And that's happened so many times, and it's so annoying that it's like, wow, we wasted that much time. We would be so much smarter if we were just more open-minded and not so tied up into what was comfortable, what was our understanding. And this is fine. This is the way it should be. It should never change, kind of deal.
How would you describe discovery, true discovery?
How would I describe true discovery?
Yeah. The essence of discovery, of having a discovery mindset. Looking at the world through that lens all the time.
Oh, that's a good question.
Also, our couple word of the year. Make sure to catch that episode. It's the last one. It's a good one.
What do you think?
To me, the essence of true discovery is it must be... I'll tie this to something I was talking about in one of my Instagram lives last Sunday, which was really popular. I got a lot of comments out of it. And I was talking about being in a shameless plug. Where's the camera? There we are. There we go.
A humble brag there much? I mean, geez.
Well, no, but I'm saying because it struck a chord. A few things I said there struck a chord. And I'm just saying things that are in the collective, right? I'm just like I'm a conduit for things that are like, that I'm feeling into. And one of the things I was saying is that the nature of being I call it creatrix consciousness, and the nature of being in your true creatrix, creator self is that you are willing to to be open to the unknown of what will be revealed and what you'll discover that isn't already here already. Because our brain, it's like a computer. It takes input and output. So it almost like recycles the information, right? That's not true creation. That's more of you're adapting, you're looking at things that already exist. And there's certainly a valuable place for that. But when you're in a place of true creation and open to true discovery, then it's like you got to let go of all the expectations, of all the assumptions. You've got to be willing to surrender to the unknown, which is the scary place that people then don't want to go to.
Right, because they don't want to feel uncomfortable.
In the unknown, you feel uncomfortable. Yeah. You don't feel safe anymore. Your ego is like, holds you back. Like, no, wait. Stay here where it's safe, where you know what's here.
Yeah.
Because what's in the unknown, it's like there's no map. You're literally blazing a new trail. And I think that the more we embrace that essence of true creating and true discovery, that's how I tie in and I interpret what you're saying and the opportunity that's available there. And that is a lonely road, because in order to affect a larger group of people, it takes a long time.
Yeah.
It's like that. Have you heard of that theory, the 100 monkey theory, where it's like it's true. I thought you would know about
That's a funny theory.
No,
but
but
go on.
it's like, they did this study. I don't know where. We'll look it up. But basically, until like one monkey starts to do something new, and it's like, okay, it takes a while until the 100th monkey in that monkey. What do you call it?
The clan or the group
or
or whatever.
Group of
it doesn't
monkeys.
matter. Yeah.
Until when the 100th monkey, it like gets it, this new way of eating a fruit or accessing something,
a new tool,
then
whatever.
All of a sudden.
Bless you. They all of a sudden sneeze.
All of a sudden they all sneeze. All of a sudden then it takes momentum. Then it's like it's exponential, which means the theory is that it takes up to. What
you're saying is once it gets to 100, then the surrounding groups.
Then it's like
all of a sudden they
wildfire.
pick it up real fast.
Exactly,
yeah.
But it takes a while. For that first one that discovered the thing that's like, hey, look, I found a new way to open this fruit.
Isn't that just like exponential growth? That's just in general. Like you don't get there until you have.
You need like a mass.
You need a mass.
But that's what I'm saying. It's a lonely road.
Yeah.
Until
you get to that point.
Other people are like, oh yeah. And what's happening now, even like when we look at the collective in terms of what's happening on Earth, it's a lot of people are awakening to other ways of looking at things. And it's a lonely road for those of us that are on the periphery going, hey, have you seen this new way to open this fruit? This is actually like I think there's something here. But the other people are like, no. We've been using this old way. This is what works. I don't know what you're talking about. That's a little messy. Yeah. Meanwhile, us monkeys that are like, no, but look, it's lonely. But then you connect with another monkey that's like, oh, yeah, I get it. I get that too. That's pretty cool.
Love how we're monkeys.
But you got, But you got to stay with the course. You can't just be like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to leave it. You've got to stay. That's the vision and that's the commitment to being in that place of discovery and standing for what you believe in and being willing to continue speaking about it. Yeah. Because at first you're going to be, the odd monkey out.
So I want to go back to that odd monkey out. I want to go back to it. We were talking about it. But I want to go back to and bringing it back to open-mindedness and being closed-minded and how those teachers that are tenured, you can understand. I don't agree with them doing that, but you can understand. Sorry, I had this shot on you only. Oh. You can understand. You can understand why they wouldn't take chances, because it's either they want to get awards now. Their mindset changes. Mm-hmm. They want to get more recognition, and it's a lot easier if people feel comfortable with your thoughts. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot easier to do that. So
and now you're more exposed.
So
whereas before you could have taken more chances.
If you take a chance,
now you're like, oh, if I take a bigger chance, then I'm going to get screwed.
But that's the stupid part about it, is that you can absolutely take bigger chances, because it's not like you're worried about next year not getting your contract. Yeah. So a person that I feel that has a scientist that has gone through this, especially this past 2020, was Dr. Fauci. In the sense of not that he wasn't open-minded. As a matter of fact, I believe he was incredibly open-minded, and he admitted many times, okay, yeah, now we got to change course. So in the beginning, I remember where he was like, don't buy these masks because the health workers and
there was a crazy shortage. Like we had
right.
to prioritize who wore the masks. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And their equipment and the tools that they had, and there was just a massive shortage. And so he was like, no, don't wear the mask. But then obviously it was clear that actually wearing a mask could help prevent and social distancing and all stuff. And then he came out and said, well, yeah, now it's and the thing is, if you really are a person of that understands the rules of science, the scientific method, and understanding, and what he did there was absolutely acceptable and the right thing to do. He had, okay, no, it's wrong. What I said, not necessarily that it was wrong at the time. This is what needed to be done because of it's not just looking at the virus itself. It's looking at the logistics and how the world revolves around it, how economies and everything, all that stuff goes around it. And so the best method, the best method he thought was this. Was it necessarily the best method? Maybe not, but he's also admitting to say, okay, you know what, we should wear the mask.
That's what I admire, is that he had the courage to keep coming up time and time again. Irrelevant of the subject, it's like the courage to keep coming up and say, oh, I messed up. Let's course correct here. Yes. Because we're all dealing with something completely new.
And then here's the problem that he ran into, is that people just didn't believe him. People that didn't understand that. People that weren't open-minded.
Is this the point where we could say people suck a little bit?
People suck. People absolutely suck. I've always said that people are dumb. A person is smart. I've always said it.
Oh.
A person is smart. People are dumb. It's a great line. I mean, I totally butchered the line, but that's from freaking Men in Black.
Oh.
I don't know if you remember it. He's like, a person's smart, and they're sitting at the bench. He goes, but people are dumb. They can't handle this. That's why we hide it from them, because they can't handle it. And it's frustrating.
That's so powerful. It's so true.
It's so frustrating because the human mind and the human being is so amazing, and the achievements that we've created, the things that were done,
chills,
amazing,
chills.
But as a society, as a large population,
don't you think that's because we've been crazy indoctrinated by fear? Like we're basically born into a petri dish of fear.
Well, we'll get to that in a second. I don't necessarily fully agree with that, but I understand where you're coming from there. But we're just a massive population of like buffalo running on fear of stampede, and we're just gonna go off the cliff because we're so blinded because we don't stop and think for a moment and look at our surroundings. So it's that point is so true, you know. So it sucks because when there's good science being done, it's questioned by people that are just not open-minded, not understanding. Oh, you can't change. Why can't I change?
Right.
Either they, because they're very, very religious in the sense, it's okay if you're religious. It's not about that. But the point is not to take the word as complete fact and look deeper into it, because you should look deeper than just what's on the surface.
And by the way, organized religion was created to control us anyway. So
that too.
Spirituality versus religion are two very different things.
Very different things.
Organized religion was created to control. Like that's just not. Yeah, let's not mince words.
And let's going back to what Tommy Lee Jones. That's who the actor. Tommy Lee Jones said, "People are dumb, so we need to guide them." And sometimes the people guiding you are not necessarily guiding you in the right direction.
Right. Their motives
are questionable.
Which, by the way, I'm just going to sprinkle in a little bit of saucy political
I want to put that shot on you so I'm not involved. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Oh, yeah. Just a quick, because that being guided by, we have an outgoing president who created a movement of radicalized people. And these people, a lot of them are now going, wait a minute, what just happened here?
Some of them are.
Oh, that's it.
Some of them are, but I think also a lot of them are just trying to find their version of the facts that align with what they believe in.
Yes, and they will, and this will continue. This is not ending today.
Yeah.
We will see the ramifications of this.
Yeah.
And it will continue evolving. But there's that feeling like it just goes back to what you were saying. People who are guided by someone who did not has had his own interests and the interests of the people that he really cares about, but
which,
played a facade of like, oh, I really care about you. And now I think, I would hope those massive groups of people may have an opportunity to collectively kind of like
wake up.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Wake up a little bit and go, oh, I heard a quote this morning. I was listening to someone who said she had read something on Twitter that said, oh, I did all this, blah, 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 and all I got was a stupid red hat. And I'm like, you cannot align yourself to any guru, to any leader that is guiding you from that standpoint, because you get to be a sovereign. You get to make your own decisions. And I mean, this would just go on to like
we can
other extensions of podcast topics, but I just that's what happens when you're misguided by somebody who has other interests.
Yeah, and so there was also something else that we discussed about being uncomfortable yesterday, and the difference between open-minded and closed-minded. And there was something I wanted to, it's about the problem that we're living right now, that everybody wants everything black and white. It's either this or that. And so if you're precautious, you're considered you're almost there are people that believe, oh, if you're being precautious, then you're Murphy's Law, that something bad is going to happen. And that's it. Like you're always thinking around you. Yeah, it's the difference
between being in fear and being prudent.
Right, when being
well,
okay.
Being like, taking
logical
prudent methods. No, because I think logic is something that we get to contest. I think logic is something that's also been created through a certain lens.
Okay.
And so, but there's a difference between acting out of a place of fear, like, oh, I'm afraid I'm going to get sick because, Right. Then those are the thoughts that you're generating in your system, versus I'm going to be prudent about this. Whether it's a mask or a vaccine, or
I'm going to be smart about it.
I'm going to be, well,
Why is it not?
No, because again, there's like, I feel like when you say smart or logical, there's like an inherent judgment there of, if you don't think this way, then you're not smart. Like it's being prudent.
Well,
like,
if
I
you
don't think it's the same as smart.
All right.
But that's,
No, I get.
We're just batting on our different ways of experiencing
words matter.
They do.
And so let's go to the other side of it, where it's like, I don't want to wear a mask. I don't want to do this. I'm going to do that because I am all powerful, whatever. And it's the ignorance, and ignorance is bliss, and just blinded by the stuff around you, the facts,
And downright irresponsible.
Downright
to me,
irresponsible.
That just shows a lack of responsibility.
And if you're saying no because
my
mindset is that I'm going to be fine. That's, I think what I said was, it's like if I told someone, be careful with the cliff, you can fall, and they walk over there and they're like, no,
mindset is I can fly.
My mindset is that gravity doesn't affect me. Okay, go check that out, please. Please go try it out. Like those people, I want to see it. Go test it.
Go test your hypothesis.
Because, that's the other extreme. And I feel like we're in this world of, our world right now is of extremes. It's either this way or the other way. And that's it's either this or that. And man, it's not.
Well, it's more I love this conversation. And I was listening to a podcast yesterday that part of it was what we were talking about, where a woman who has similar beliefs that I do, she's somebody who has a new age thinking, right? And that similar beliefs. And she was saying how, she sees the world through this lens of, let's be precautious and let's, and also she sees the world through the lens of, I really do believe that my energy and my mindset and my words and my connection to spirit makes a huge difference in my life. And that I don't want to operate from a place of fear. I want to operate from a place of light and possibility. But the unfortunate thing is that so many new age leaders have leaned into the space of guiding people towards
everything's fine,
not taking smarter precautions.
Right.
I use the word smarter. So there you go.
There you go. I'm telling you because it is.
So she was saying, and I loved how authentic and vulnerable she was. And she was interviewing somebody who has been in the space for a long time and written a ton of books about it. And they were talking about conspiracy theorists and sort of like how their minds work.
Yeah.
And she was saying, you know, when I hear somebody in this new age kind of vibe saying, no, like, don't do this and do that and believe in this and believe in that because my, you know, spirit says so. And over here, we're like, but I'm really tapped into spirit, and that's not what I'm getting. And it's this like, there's been this divide, which I think had to happen. And oh my gosh, I mean, we've yet to see how this will all play out in terms of the spiritual community. And again, if that's not something that you're into, that, you know, may not resonate with you if you know, as a listener. But for those who do, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. There's like different camps. And in my perspective, I was surprised to experience a couple of people that whose work I had been following, who ended up, you know, being basically pro-Trump, and because they have this understanding of what, you know, more sort of these QAnon beliefs. And I was like, wait, what? Like, that came out of nowhere. And I'm like, look, okay. So if you're someone who I considered really tapped in intuitively, then what does that mean with my own sense of then I'm like, how am I'm getting a completely different vibe.
Yeah.
And I do believe, and I will say this, and this, you know, there are things happening behind the scenes in our government, in our industries, in the world that we do not know.
Slow down.
So if that, but I do not align with some of the core beliefs out there that are moving in these sort of conspiracy circles. But it's also not like, oh, but yeah, everything you're getting is like fact.
I think for me,
of course not. That to me is ridiculous.
Okay.
That to me is where you talk about, oh, but it's logical. This is what's logical, and I'm like,
no.
No.
I'm not okay. Does the government hide stuff from us? Absolutely. Should it? Maybe in some cases for the masses, maybe.
No, there's certain things. I'm not also pro like, oh, just to share everything.
No.
Then chaos might ensue.
Exactly.
I'm talking about there are certain things that they might be choosing specifically to keep a certain like
that you feel that
cap on.
I feel
I'm
you know
just saying
who does
even deeper than that.
Really?
Oh, there's someone on the front door.
Great.
Even deeper than that,
check.
there are things. But you could just have your phone. Why you gotta go?
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. Keep going.
I'm just saying things that are deeper than even the obvious things, like, oh, the government's not necessarily as forthcoming about alien interactions. Well, even though you can go into the NASA and FBI files and see stuff, but
what? Where did this come from?
No, like recently, what happened last year that they released all of this footage and documents and things about
and the funny thing is
potential like UFO sightings.
Yeah. Well, not potential; they were UFOs, but the definition.
Yes, they were unidentified.
But here's
objects.
Exactly. That's all of a sudden people just associate UFO as aliens. No, we just don't know what the hell they are. Whatever we came up, those things that came across, we don't know what the hell they are.
Right.
But they definitely are not technology that we've created.
Right.
You could be logical and say that there are, you know, fighter pilots that were there that have been interviewed, and it's like, yeah, I've never seen this. Nobody that we know, human-wise, has created this.
Yeah, or
so,
that we know might have the technology.
Right, and
to
so
here's
the problem. This is what I've been talking about is that the scientific community in some cases, in a lot of cases, that's uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And so they choose to be like, no, because why would they come here?
Because then if you stick your neck out for what you really believe in, then get ready.
We're just going by the facts. Like, we don't know what it is. No human has ever created this. So here's a possibility. Okay, why is that a problem? This shouldn't be a problem. This shouldn't be scary either, in the sense of like, you know, it should be.
Yeah.
You know, you should be precautious, but want to discover, want to know about the discovery.
There's that discover again.
Right, but you also can't be just like, oh, let's smell this. I want to taste this caterpillar, and you lick it and you die because it's poisonous. I know that was kind of weird. The point is, you can't also be completely. It's almost going back to the open mind, the cyclical. If you go too much, then you turn into something totally different.
Yeah. I'm excited because I have a feeling that we will begin to see an emergence of really audacious souls, like especially now that we're entering this new age, and we'll be getting into it, right? I'm talking about the age of Aquarius. Let's just put it out there. It's a thing. We are going to see Aquarius is all about this individuality and this forward thinking. It's an air sign. It's very different from the sign we were in before. And so, oh my goodness, I'm just feeling into this whole new crop, this new group, this new emergence of audacious thinkers that are really putting themselves out there with these revolutionary thoughts around science and ways of doing things and ways of creating things. Because to tell you the truth, I'm not going to say we've been stagnant, because my gosh, there have been many discoveries and many amazing things happening. So I'm not discounting any of that. However, aren't you ready for an emergence of like a boost of like real, like audacious thinking around discovery and people really putting themselves out there on the line to say, hey,
what about this? And the thing is, people are so afraid to be wrong.
Exactly.
I hope we get to an age where we can admit.
Exactly.
I hope this is a year
to be
the
in
beginning,
true experimentation,
and
like
be
a laboratory.
Okay, we try this out.
Life.
This ain't gonna work, and not like just
right
force it down your throat until you make it.
Because then
work.
you make it personal.
Yes.
Then you're afraid of external judgment. And anytime you make anything personal, get ready, brother and sister, because you're just not gonna go anywhere.
Yes, I just wanted to say this before I forget.
Yeah.
Going back to what you said about the government and you know, holding things
all
back
the
from us,
nefarious
whatever.
behind the scenes
Right.
things.
You know what? I'm concerned more with big corporations and how they.
Oh yeah, but they're
do
all
that.
working together. The banks,
Right.
the corporations, the government.
Right,
like,
but let's just like simple things, like even your Samsung phone or your Apple phone or your freaking cars or whatever, and how they're holding things back from us when they didn't before in the past. I mean, like we can just simply go to looking at a phone just a couple years ago, and it had removable batteries. Why would you have a removable battery? Well, you can change that battery out when it doesn't work that great anymore. But why are they dying so fast? They're like, no, screw that. We don't want them to do that because we want them to get a new one, whatever. And now they removed the chargers and headphones from the box, and
this affects it all. This affects our economics. This affects our pollution. This affects the mindset of you need something new, like instead of the mindset of preserve what you have, and make what you have work.
But it's a difficult bind, because then their argument is, how do we become profitable? How do we stay profitable?
That's the thing, and I love that you brought up the corporations
profitable?
Because they're even more.
So
there's an even darker agenda there.
The darker
the government.
Right.
The government, they're like a symbiotic relationship, right? They support each other.
This is turning into a conspiracy theory podcast. No, it's not.
I don't believe that's a conspiracy theory.
Not. No, it's not. It's not.
Period. I believe
this is just
in
an
my
opinion.
view, that is fact, because
this is an opinion.
we know what happens. We don't know what happens behind the scenes.
We don't know.
We know.
But the whole point is that this is our opinion, and and but we're also here to admit,
take it or leave it. You have
your
your own opinion.
But I feel like we were very comfortable into saying, yeah, we were wrong on that. It was actually this, or totally.
Yeah.
So one last thing before we go, we want to go see this inauguration, right? I'm gonna post something later today, and I don't know, and I talked to you about this, and I kind of wanted to talk on the podcast about it too, even before I posted it, but maybe by the time that you guys hear it, it will probably already be posted if you follow me.
Either way, go to Instagram and
at
follow
High Octane
him.
Jules. It's a 7-second clip. 7 seconds. And what I did was I looked at my phone and I went back a year and a half ago. December 2019?
So
Yeah. December.
A year ago.
December 2019. I went to go play golf with a friend of mine, and he had recorded me, and I hit a really difficult shot. I used to love playing golf. I haven't played golf since October of last year, because I realized the last time I went out there that I can't do this anymore. It was too tiring. I wasn't enjoying myself. I'd get out of it incredibly exhausted and wouldn't be able to move for a couple days after that, because my arms were just, killing me, or just I just there's no it's just no strength. I for those who have ALS, they know exactly what I'm talking about. For those who don't, it's hard to describe. It's just not there. And he recorded me on both clips, and I was intrigued because of my scientific background of just I like to understand things and observe these things and see the changes. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like if you look at my YouTube feed, you get an idea of who I am. It's like restoration of, toys and from a rusted junk to a brand spanking new, or the opposite way, or the opposite where it shows like deterioration over time, or most of the time it's mostly fixing. Mm-hmm. One thing that was fed to me was pool cleaning compilations.
Wow.
So weird. But when you on YouTube and you don't actually click on the video and it starts playing?
No.
I've watched a couple of them just like that, just to see. I'm like, I want to see how this guy gets his pool clean. And you're like, holy crap, this has got to be fake. It's like incredible how he gets it clean. Anyways, that's the kind of stuff that I find, I don't know, enjoyable or soothing or whatever, just to look at, right? Mm-hmm. And car videos. And I was intrigued about myself and how, and unfortunately in this case, how it's progressed, how the disease has progressed. And so I made side by side, I put those videos side by side. I tried to sync it as close as I could, but the fact of the matter is my swing speed, me swinging the club in December of 2019 was much faster. You can tell I'm stronger, my back is straighter versus October of 2020. Mm-hmm. And also even the hit was terrible. It was straight, but it was bad. And my scientific side, which is, I guess, a little bit colder in the sense of like intrigue of like, look at the progression here. Look what you can see in certain parts of his body. And this is my own body, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's also very sad. And I can understand why people be like, why would you want to post that? And for me, I think the reason is I find it intriguing, and also not everything that has to be posted has to be perfect butterflies, sunshines, and lollipops. Mm-hmm. This is just real. This is what I'm going through. And honestly, if we really wanted to, we could. I still have one of my clubs. I just have one club because I gave back my other clubs because they weren't being used. It doesn't make sense. I'd rather have someone else use them. I have one club there, and maybe you should record me trying to swing with it now, because I haven't swung a club since that day. I was like,
October.
Since October of 2020. And even in that video, which I muted it, it's just a video itself, but I even said, I was like, probably my last fairway shot for now. And I said, for now. Mm-hmm. Because again, going back to what we said about being precautious and also being, just look towards the positive in the world. Mm-hmm. I totally feel that somewhere there's a cure.
There's a breakthrough.
And we're calling it in. And I feel like I'm going to be involved in it.
Yes.
And I think that's a very important mindset, but also being precautious and being understanding of the situation that you're in, that I'm in, that we are in, for those of you. So, so I'm going to post it, and it's just I feel a pretty interesting side by side of time and how it's changed me, So, what do you think
about what, baby?
About it, about posting it.
I
know you told me. I
love the idea. I love you talking about it. I love you opening up about it. I love the courage. I love the transparency. I love you having sharing your curiosity about it as well.
That's what it is. It's the curiosity about it. I mean, I did pictures of my hands for a while too, just to see the change. It's harder to see the change because I have to get the right angle. Mm-hmm. But there's definitely a change. You can, you don't need to see a previous picture of my hands to see the change.
Yeah.
But it's curiosity. That's what it is, which is so important.
And I think what was interesting and what makes the conversation extra is what is your thinking and it's not fear, but your hesitation around, what will people think if I post this, which is what we talked about yesterday.
Right. It's me. Why would I care? Why should I care about what people think? It's not even about what should I care what people think. It's like, it shouldn't affect me to the point that I should
And are you trying to protect other people's feelings?
Right.
I think that's more of what, because you think about other people. You're very compassionate. So I think deep down you're like almost trying to protect other people from feeling pain.
Or maybe I'm like, why do I need to put this out there? Yeah, so yeah, it is pain. I don't
Like,
know.
oh, this is sad, so I don't want other people to feel sad about it. But I want you to see it from my perspective, which is, wow, this is a progression of this.
Yes, that's exactly what I want.
Yeah.
Look at it from my view.
Yeah, but think
of the
about
world.
how
I
you
understand
are
that may affect
helping
you.
others discover. Again, we go back to that word. It's powerful to discover a new way of experiencing themselves through your courage. That's what you're doing. You're blazing new trails. So that's what we do. We can't just go by the default thinking. We've got to go by the gut of, okay, what's new here?
Yeah.
What's available that's new?
Yeah.
And keep leaning into that, because otherwise then we're just going to be repeating the same patterns and the same stories.
Yeah.
And it's 2021, baby.
Woo!
Woo!
Guys, as usual, please rate and review and subscribe. I love you, baby.
I love you, my darling.
See ya.
Bye.